All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The January 7th, 2026 meeting of the City Council will now come to order at 6 p.m. Winnie, may we have roll call, please?
Jessica Ayers.
Here.
Nick Card.
Here.
Kevin Keating. Mike Kurlinger.
Yep.
John Quinn.
Here.
Zach Smith.
Here.
Kevin Stein.
Here.
And Garrett West.
Here.
We have 7 present.
All right, we have a quorum. Mr. Bile.
Mayor, Council, John Bile, your interim city manager. Just a quick update on several items going on in the city currently. So the former Ramada Inn located near Fred Meyer in the north end of town has continued to be an ongoing issue. As I have briefed council before, we have been taking steps with the property owner to try to address the ongoing safety issues associated with this building that has largely been abandoned. This picture here shows a fire that occurred last weekend. This is something that has been occurring on a frequent basis. So we have been corresponding with the owner of the property, being very clear with them that this is simply unacceptable. And it's an unsafe situation that's endangering the people that are inhabiting that building. As of yesterday, they did hire another security firm. We did a large sweep of the building. We can't guarantee that everybody left, but what they have done is they have secured the building, and when people go out, they're not going to get back in. That is our hope. This effort was completed by a private security firm and assisted by Medford Police Department. So we're going to continue to monitor the situation, ensure that the safety of our citizens is protected, and hopefully this building will come to resolution here sometime in the near future. In December, we completed the city's audit report. And historically, for those that have been around for a while, we've always used Moss Adams. Well, Moss Adams merged with Baker Tilly, so if it's a new name for you. But they completed the report. The good news is it was an unmodified opinion and a clean audit report, so everything came in very positive in terms of the audit and the city's financial situation. This is a huge piece of work for our finance department. Many departments are involved in this. There's lots of data that is being requested, lots of reports are being requested, and it's a huge effort. And I just want to recognize the finance team of Trevor Williams, Mark Dingler, Alan Cochran, and Jessica Scott, which Ryan noted. 2 of these 3 people have been employee of the quarter winners. So apparently he's feeling like his staff is the best in the city. But we received a certificate of achievement for financing reporting, and this is something that we've been consistently completing. And this is a real feather in the cap for the finance department, because not everybody does this, and it really reflects on the quality of financial accounting that we have in the city of Medford through our finance department. So well done, finance department. Rogue X turned 2 years old yesterday. And I think the fun thing to announce on that is, when you have a new facility, it's kind of novel. So everybody runs there real quick to go see what it's all about, and they use the facility. On the second year, we saw a 1% drop, a very small drop. And in many months, we exceeded the numbers from last year. And so the facility continues to see great use. You'll see a whole bunch of numbers associated here regarding the numbers of the folks that are using the facility, and the Rogue X is just really turning out to be a great asset for our city, which we anticipated. On February 4th, Rich Rosenthal, our Parks and Recreation Facilities Director, will be giving you a report indicating the economic impact of this, and I will note, I won't give you the numbers, but I will note that it is exceeding last year's numbers, and the facility is doing very, very well. Sticking with the Parks Department, one of the things that Rich and his staff do is our parks, we have a fantastic parks program that is used extensively by our citizens, and we want to hear from them. How are we doing? And so they have a series of surveys that they do on an annual basis, And we ask the same questions every year, so it becomes a very great measure on how we're doing to previous years. So 2 of those surveys are open right now for the recreation programs and the park maintenance programs. If you talk to your citizens about parks, if you're visiting with your constituents, encourage them to go take these surveys. This data is used extensively. What they say is important to us, and we shift our priorities based upon what our citizens are telling us about our parks. So encourage you people to take those surveys. And lastly, there's a lot going on in the city right now, and we have several upcoming meetings. A week from today, we're getting a presentation from the United Soccer League regarding some ideas and thoughts that they have about coming to Medford and establishing professional soccer here in the city of Medford. We're going to be reviewing council goals, a large piece of work that council completed last year, and giving you updates on those and how we stand with the variety of goals that we're working on. 2 weeks from today, we're going to be asking you to provide final direction to staff regarding Main Street and what the future of Main Street will look like. And then lastly, at the end of the month, we're going to have a study session where we're going to talk about, receive input from you on what you're looking for a city manager and the specific criteria that you want in that position and the recruitment process. So some key meetings coming up. We're looking forward to working with you. For this year, there's an exciting agenda we have in front of the city and the staff for this coming year, and we're excited to work with you and to complete that. And that concludes my report.
Well, thank you very much. We are going to move on to employee recognition. Human Resources Director Bonnie Barish is here to recognize an employee anniversary.
It's a retirement.
Retirement.
Fortunately.
The first annual.
Fortunately for this person, they're probably happy it's a retirement. Me, not so much. Oops. Sorry. All this fanfare here. Okay. Mayor, Council, my name is Bonnie Barish. I'm your HR Director, and tonight I want to turn this over to Dan Worth so he can recognize the retirement of Lorraine Peterson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Dan Worth, Public Works Director. It's actually an honor for me to be here to be talking about the many contributions that Lorraine has made during her time with the city. It's an honor because I've been benefiting from Lorraine's work for the last 6 months, but we've got at least 2 people in this room that have a much longer association with her that she worked directly with and accomplished great things. One is your city manager, John Weil. And the other is the Chief Financial Officer, Ryan Martin, who both had the opportunity to work with and supervise Lorraine. And I'm sure that can add a lot to what I'm going to tell you. But I've got her now, so I get the privilege. Lorraine is, she's an MVP in the Public Works Department. She is one of my greatest assets. I have 4 managers in different divisions in Public Works. 3 of them are the operating divisions that go out and do things that you see every day. You see the managers from those groups frequently. My engineering group executes capital projects, manages the streets. I've got an operations group that handles streets and sewers and stormwater. And I got the Water Reclamation Division. None of them could do their job without the support that Lorraine gives them in her Business Administration Division. She is critical to everything that happens in Public Works. She is our Budget Development and Execution Manager, which is not easy because we have 15 separate funds that we have to budget and manage during the course of the biennium. She's my Finance Manager. Which has been especially critical in the past year or so as we've gone out and financed debt for the biggest capital project that the city's ever undertaken, the water treatment plant project. And that includes a lot of work that she's put in over the past year on the WIFIA loan that we just closed on, working with the finance department to make that happen. She's my information manager. She generates the monthly reports that you see that let you know what Public Works is up to. She handles all of the documents, the reports that you see for actions that I bring to you for review and approval. And she's a leader. She's got a very small group of people, but she has employees embedded in each of those operating divisions, and she gives them the direction and the guidance that they need to be able to adequately support the whole Public Works operation. She does all those things for Public Works. She's done this for 15 of her 18 years with the city. She also spent 3 years working in the finance department. In that role, she's had some great accomplishments. She streamlined and updated our fee schedule. She oversaw the entire city's budget preparation and review and approval process for 2 biennial cycles when she was in that position. And I would even like to add that now, as she's preparing to step into retirement, she, being the dedicated employee that she is doing her utmost to make sure that we're going to continue to run smoothly into the future. We've had her replacement on board with us since the beginning of December, and Lorraine put together probably the most detailed and comprehensive hour-by-hour, day-by-day training schedule that I've ever seen. and I guarantee that Rat Rob is going to be ready to take over and hit the ground running, largely because of Lorraine's efforts. So with that, I would just like to conclude by saying that, Lorraine, I'm very grateful for your contributions and happy for the next chapter that you're about to embark on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lorraine, for your 18 years. And that will conclude the employee recognition, but are you going to introduce the next one, or should I?
The
Citizen?
very special recognition
Yes.
by Chief
Just
Ivins?
Chief Ivins.
No, you do. You go ahead.
Well, it was a group effort. So I would next like to ask Chief of Police Justin Ivins to come up and give our Citizen Award.
Little do they know, I gave Lorraine an application on the way out. Congratulations to Lorraine. Mayor, Council, Justin Ivins, your police chief. Thank you for giving me a few minutes tonight to recognize 3 Medford residents and thank them personally for their assistance as set forth in the following citation. On December 14, 2025, at approximately 8:31 p.m. in southwest Medford, a Medford police officer engaged in a foot pursuit during a traffic stop of a known wanted suspect who had a revoked driver's license. The encounter escalated into a prolonged physical struggle, during which the suspect attempted to seize the officer's duty pistol and taser, while the officer was on his back and partially immobilized. Recognizing the officer's need for assistance, Medford residents Tim and Susan Pike and Vincent Gutierrez ran to assist. Under the officer's direction, they controlled the suspect's body and legs, enabling the officer to break the suspect's grip, regain positional control, and safely apply handcuffs. The suspect was taken into custody. The officer sustained a forehead laceration, and no further injuries occurred to the assisting citizens or suspect. For their decisive courage and selfless actions, the City of Medford wants to express its profound appreciation and present Tim Pike, Susan Pike, and Vincent Gutierrez with the City of Medford Appreciation Award. Their conduct exemplifies the highest ideals of community partnership, with the City of Medford and the Medford Police Department. Thank you. Mayor. I'll undo these for you.
Okay. Susan. All right.
Jump in and take a
Yeah,
quick
take a picture. My, this is working out good for me. Here, let's get all the.
Thanks. And Mayor, that's all I have, and there are a lot of people in the audience that know these individuals and came to support them, so just wanted to say thank you.
Well, and I guess from all of us, thank you guys again. It's just the basic of stepping up and helping out somebody in need is kind of a value that we all cherish around here, and just the idea of clearly an officer in need like that, putting yourselves at risk, just tremendous disregard for your own safety to help another. It's very much appreciated. So thank you so much for that. And I had very nice words to say about Lorraine, but that's it. I'm out. Okay. We'll move on to item 40, oral requests and communications from the audience. This is when the City Council sets aside 30 minutes for in-person public comments. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per person or organization. As outlined in the agenda, the public may also submit written comments to the council. No written comments were received for tonight's meeting, however. Before the hearing public comments, I'd like to note the decorum policy for the council chambers. The use of noisemakers or disruptive audience behavior such as applause, cheering, or shouting is not permitted. Decorum violations are time-consuming and disrespectful to the speaker and all attendees. Failure to follow the basic standards of decorum may result in removal from the meeting. Finally, I'd like to emphasize that this is your opportunity to provide comments to the council. It's not intended for a time of questions and answers. If you have completed a public comment form, please come to the front of the room when your name is called. The time is 6:18. Winnie, has anyone filled out a public comment form?
Yes, Your Honor, just one, Logan Vaughn.
Logan Vaughn. There's Logan.
Good evening, council. Thank you guys for, well, you got to be here, right? Wanted to bring some attention. It looks like I'm alone here once again. The voice in the wilderness crying, prepare you the way of the Lord, but that's a different story. The flock cameras going around in Medford. I think hopefully everyone's aware of them. They are surveillance. I'm kind of torn between having them up because if ICE could be using them to clean things up here, which I think we're a sanctuary city or whatever anyway. Long story short, they need to go. I guess I'm the only one who thinks so, though. It's surveillance. And I'm reminded of a famous quote by Benjamin Franklin, that those who would give up a little bit of liberty for security deserve neither. Something along the lines. So, I mean, where do we draw the line with these flock cameras? I mean, why don't we just put cameras on each other and we can just police each other all the time? So it is what it is. I mean, if they're going to happen, I believe that the public should have access to it. and we should know which departments are using it. I understand it could be very helpful for Medford law enforcement, but who else is being able to see this, if that makes sense? And if it should be in public, we should be able to see it. The other purpose of my comment here today, while I got a minute left, is I spoke several months ago about a street preacher that was extorted for $250 by our city. Kevin is aware of it. He's not here today, and he was going to try to see the opportunity, how we would go about getting that money back to that pastor that was extorted $250 for just preaching the word of God in the city, in the streets of Medford. It's just a shame that it could happen. His name is John Peterman, and so someone from here needs to cut him a check for $250 and get that money back to him. I know that Kevin said he was going to work on it. I don't know how that process is coming, but you can't just be citing preachers for preaching. It's not a good look. Anyway, while I got 10 seconds, I don't know if anybody's spoken up for the murder mill, the Planned Parenthood going on in Medford, but if we could shut that place down in there, I mean, they just murder children, unborn babies, and it's not okay. Anyway, God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone want to speak tonight that did not fill out a public comment card? Okay. We will move on to approval or correction of the December 17, 2025 minutes. We've all received the draft minutes from the aforementioned meeting. Does anyone have any revisions or corrections to those minutes? Garrett. Excellent. All right, seeing none, the minutes will stand as provided. Skipping past the consent calendar, we will go straight to ordinances and resolutions. 80.1, Mr. Mitten.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 80.1 is Council Bill 2026-01, an ordinance authorizing and approving execution of a contract in the amount of $1,806,479.74 with Doolittle Construction LLC to perform slurry seals on various streets.
This one is actually fairly straightforward. It would be on a consent calendar had there not only been two items. So I'll just throw that out. If someone wants a staff report, or if I'll take a motion. I'll take a motion.
Move to approve Council Bill 2026-01, the first of the year.
Second. Was that Garrett? Yep. Okay. Motion and second. Any discussion on your motion?
It's just, this is one of those things that, unfortunately, I'm sure Dan could tell us how much more expensive it gets every year as costs continue to go up. I just appreciate Public Works doing what they can to try to control these costs. We have a really limited budget when it comes to this kind of stuff, but these slurry seals are a great way to extend the life of our asphalt around the city, make sure our roads stay safe. I know we go through a bid process. There's a whole big operation that goes with it, and keep up the good work. Thanks, Dan.
Great. Anyone else? May we have roll?
Nick Card,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
Zach Smith,
Yes.
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger,
Yes.
and John Quinn.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Okay, that motion carries. 80.2.
Item 80.2 is Council Bill 2026-02, an ordinance authorizing and approving adoption of a Downtown Medford Association's Economic Improvement District final plan and directing the staff to notice affected property owners of a public hearing on the issue.
Okay. I don't think this is quite as straightforward. Are you presenting tonight?
I apologize, I neglected to pull up my PowerPoint already. All right, Mayor and Council, Eric Minton, your city attorney, here to talk about the latest step in the Downtown Medford Association's process towards an economic improvement district. So this is part of a three-step process. The first step was the draft plan, which Council reviewed and approved in October of 2025. This is a final plan, and if this is approved, that's when the public engagement component happens. The third step would be likely the second meeting in February. We'll see how quickly all those notices go out, which would be a public hearing where affected property owners can come and state what they feel. And also, there's an opportunity to provide written opposition. If we receive written opposition from 33% of the affected area, we're done. It's not discretionary. There is no economic improvement district. If we don't receive 33% opposition, council has discretion based on what they hear at the public hearing to move forward or not. So this is simply laying out the terms and conditions of what would be reviewed at that next meeting and what would be reviewed at that next meeting. So the final plan has got, it's going to sound pretty similar if you were here in October. It's got the same area that we talked about for the preliminary plan and the same allocation in terms of use of funds. The key terms, the draft plan had talked about contributions of 10 cents per square foot per year for the parcel size, and it talked about a potential second tier. That has been formalized. There is a second tier of 7.5 cents per square foot per year, and that is for two categories, nonprofits and governmental entities. So as a governmental entity, that is good that we're on the second tier. The affected property would include the Carnegie Library. But otherwise, it is very similar to the draft plan that we've been talking about officially since October and through study sessions much longer. And the duration of the plan, it is 3 years, and there is a single optional renewal for another 3 years. That's per statute. If there's a desire to have a economic improvement district after that, they can, but they need to restart the entire public engagement process to do so. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Mr. Mitten? Mr. Krillinger?
I think I remember, but remind me, within the EID, there's not a property owner who's within the boundaries can't opt out. This isn't a case-by-case basis. The whole district is formed and you're in it, or it's not formed and you're not. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Other questions? Motion? Mr. Stein?
I move to approve Council Bill 2026 Tech 02.
Second.
Ooh, I have Garrett on that, actually. Discussion on your motion, Kevin?
I did see Annie start to come down. Did you want to say anything? She does not want to say anything. Okay. For the record, she has lots to say. She was not asked a question. Okay. So I would just say, I think when Mike, now Mayor Zarzynski, and I first got on, this is like the first thing that we did. It was like right there in 2015 that this bubbled up, because it started before we got on, and then we kind of finished it, and then it went through this process, and basically what happened was it got more than that 33%, and it died, and that organization left, and then there was nothing to fill the void. Then it took many years later, and then another group of citizens came, and at first they were called Spark. I remember too much of this random stuff that happened over the years. And then that developed into what do we see today with the Downtown Medford Association, and I think they're doing great work. But I think I've been talking about getting this EID back up and running and getting this support for many years now, and so I'm happy that it's come to a head. I'm really hopeful that this succeeds and shows that there's buy-in from downtown businesses that they want to see these things happen. So I look forward to us supporting this, and we'll see what comes of it.
Right. Anyone else? All right. Winnie, will you call the roll?
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
Zach Smith,
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
John Quinn,
Yes.
and Nick Card.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
And that motion passes as well. On to agenda item 90, public hearings. But before hearing the public hearing, I would like to remind everyone that the rules of decorum previously outlined are still applicable. Violation of the decorum policy may result in your removal from chambers. And this evening, we have one land use quasi-judicial hearing. If you would like to speak during this hearing, please complete a blue public comment form to be called forward. Comments for quasi-judicial hearings are limited to a total of 30 minutes for applicants and/or their representatives. A 5-minute rebuttal time may be requested. Appellants and/or their representatives are limited to a total of 30 minutes, and if the applicant is not the appellant, they will also be allowed a total of 30 minutes. That's a lot of 30 minutes. All our participants will be limited to 4 minutes. Quasi-judicial hearings have specific requirements, which Attorney Eric Mitten will outline before the hearing begins. 90.1.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 90.1 is Council Bill 2026-03. This was continued from December 17th, 2025. An ordinance vacating the full 23.5-foot width and approximately 567-foot length of the New Bridgeway right-of-way running eastward from its intersection with North Ross Lane. The subject right-of-way is within both the community commercial and heavy commercial zoning districts and includes a restricted zoning administrative mapping overlay. This is land use quasi-judicial, and so I am going to explain the rules that govern this hearing. Before the hearing begins, city staff will give a report. The report will list the criteria that governs the city's decision. After the staff report, the hearing will be open for other speakers. The applicant will speak first and may ask for rebuttal time. Following the applicant, any other interested person will be allowed to speak. Before the hearing is closed, anyone who needs more time to present evidence must ask for more time. If you ask, the hearing will be continued or the record will be kept open. You'll have at least 7 days to present additional written evidence. Any testimony, argument, or evidence you give must relate to the criteria listed in the staff report or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or land use regulations that you believe apply to the decision. If you fail to raise an issue or do not give the council sufficient information so that the council and any party can respond, you will not be able to appeal that issue to the Land Use Board of Appeals. If you do not raise constitutional or other issues about any proposed condition with specificity so that the council can respond to that issue, you will not be able to bring a court action for damages. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This is a land use quasi-judicial matter, so before considering, does anyone have any conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts to report? All right, may we have staff report, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Council, Dustin Severs with the Planning Department. I'll be presenting the staff report for the New Bridgeway vacation. So the criteria for a vacation are found in section 10.2284, shown on the screen here. So vacations can be initiated by petition or they can be initiated by council. So in this case, the applicant did request that the council initiate the action, and they did so at the meeting held on March 19th, 2025. So vacation, this is a type 4 quasi-judicial decision. The city council is the final approving authority while the planning commission acts as an advisory agency forwarding a recommendation. There was a planning commission hearing held on March 27th, 2025, and the planning commission did forward a favorable recommendation. So it's quite a bit of time since they got approved, so we're going to the reasons why. Begin by looking at the project summary. So the subject area consists of unimproved right-of-way, extends east from North Ross Lane, approximately 567 feet long. So there is an existing improved section of New Bridgeway, which is on the west side of Ross Lane, extends about, I think about 1,500 feet where it terminates at Harbinger Lane. Look at the surrounding area. So immediately to the north of the subject area is the Pioneer Marketplace, which is owned by the applicant. This is a commercial subdivision. Immediately to the south is the JB Steel Company. To the southwest, you have Albertsons, and then immediately to the east of the property, it probably looks familiar. So at our last meeting last month, you did approve a glut change for 3 residential properties going from residential to commercial. So these are associated applications. We had hoped to have them go at the same time. We weren't able to get this one ready in time. Looking at another image, you can see the subject right-of-way. It extends basically from the edge of the JB Steel building and runs to North Ross Lane. As you can see, the right-of-way is there's actually some structures built. So there's a single-family residence owned by the applicant. It is occupied, and they do have a couple accessory structures that are located within the right-of-way. So for this reason, others that were discussed, it's not an ideal location for a right-of-way. So the site's general land use plan designation is commercial. It has 2 zoning designations. To the north, it is community commercial, and the south half is heavy commercial. And the proposal is to vacate this unimproved right-of-way. Again, it's about 23.5 feet wide and approximately 567 feet in length. So the New Bridgeway right-of-way is connected with the Pioneer Marketplace located to the north. Again, this is owned by the applicant. The history of Pioneer Marketplace is pretty long and complicated one. I'll just kind of give you the long and short of it. So in 2011, the Site Plan and Architectural Commission did approve the master plan for the Pioneer Marketplace. And at that time, there was a road reservation that was established with the understanding that when the property went through a subdivision in the future, that they would dedicate the amount of land for the construction of New Bridge Way. So in 2018, the Planning Commission did approve the plat for New Bridge Way, shown on the right here, and the final plat was recorded in 2021. So at that time, they did dedicate the 23 and a half feet of the New Bridge Way, and they also entered into a deferred agreement for the future construction of that right-of-way. It hasn't happened, so 4 years later, the applicant is now requesting to vacate this property, basically revert it back to the way it was before, where the property will go back to the property owners that abut the right-of-way in Pioneer Marketplace. In their findings, the applicant presented several reasons why that the current location is less than ideal. They show on the image here that there is a bit of an offset to where New Bridge currently terminates on North Ross Lane, and where the extension of the right-of-way would be does not meet our minimum distance standards. And also, there's obvious reason that we do have some existing structures built within the right-of-way. So based on a combination of all of those factors, the applicant feels like it's not an ideal location. They've come up with another solution for this issue, and that is to construct a private or an interior access road through the property in lieu of a public street. So they show it here on their conceptual plan. So you can see the street will extend from the existing entrance to the Pioneer Marketplace, which does meet that minimum distance standard, and it will head east through where the public right-of-way currently is, and ultimately connect to Rieger Street. And again, these are these three properties that just last month you approved the GLUB change for. And with the construction of this roadway, they will also be installing the buffer walls that provide some adequate buffering from some of these residential properties. So this will be a private street, but it will be constructed by the applicant, will be maintained by the applicant. However, there will be a public easement, so it will be open to the public, and will provide an important connection from North Ross Lane to Rieger Street. So in their report, the Public Works Department did outline a few modifications they'd like to see to the roadway. However, they are supportive of the request. They do feel like they'll provide an immediate public benefit in lieu of a long-term potential of a future New Bridge Way connection. So this brings us to timing. So we kind of have a unique situation here. It's kind of a chicken and the egg, where the applicant would like to get the vacation approved before they build the road. At the same time, city staff is a little uncomfortable with approving a vacation without some kind of guarantee that the road will be constructed. So staff did work with the applicant. We come up with what amounts to a conditional vacation, which is a little unique, not totally unprecedented. So you see in section 4 of our ordinance, it states that the ordinance will not become effective until basically when the roadway is completed. And we gave a time specific to September 1st, 2026. So that basically gives them the entire summer to get this constructed. And the applicant looks like they had no problem with this conditional vacation. So with that, we'll address our criteria. So all the criteria have been addressed and satisfied. The property owners were notified. We did not receive any objections in writings, and the staff's view that the vacation will not substantially affect the market value of those properties. So the council can find that the applicable criteria are satisfied. So with that, we do recommend that you approve the request as it was the recommendation of the Planning Commission. So I can take questions. We also have Mr. Jay Harlan of CSA Planning, who is the applicant's agent. He probably knows a little more about the history of the project. Thank you. Mr.
Kerlinger?
This is not me being super worried about this going sideways, but just my mind works like, what's the pitfalls? They have to meet MLDC something on the interior access road. Who's the body that's going to look at that and say, yes, this meets that, or no, it doesn't? Is it a self-certification, or does Public Works look at it and say, yeah, good job, you met the standard?
Exactly. The Public Works will be reviewing it again. They did outline some modifications they like to see just to make sure it does meet our standards.
Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, I will open the public hearing. Hear from the applicant representative.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. For the record, Jay Harlan with CSA Planning with offices at 4497 Brown Ridge here in Medford. I don't have a lot to add tonight. I think Dustin, as he always does a thorough job and sort of explains what's going on. I think the one piece that is worth noting, though, is really when the new bridge on the west side was constructed and then the offset was created. Like, I don't really know how that happened. Wasn't paying attention to it, but when that happened, like, there was just going to be no way for those to be functional streets that met the city's offset spacing standard. But there's also more than even just the offset spacing standard. There's also the practicality of it. Just because the streets line up, because McAndrews and Ross intersection and Main and North Ross Lane intersection are so close. Even now, like during the peak hour, those queues spill back. And it's, I actually took some video of like people trying to make a left out from the Albertsons during the peak hour. And there was a car didn't actually sit there for 6 minutes, but that was only because in the queue at one point, the car that would have been that car after 4 minutes turned right. But if they would have sat there and tried to ultimately, it was like over 6 minutes. It was kind of crazy. So the notion that like, even if the streets had lined up, that you were going to get in the peak hour, which is really when we care about congestion, people crossing the street and not using the higher instead of the higher was just never going to work, right? And so by doing this solution, and to be clear, this solution with the commercial streets, not Public Works' fault. That code standard did not exist when the development was initially approved, so that was something that was added later, and so now that's an option where it really wasn't an option under the code at the time. And so what this will do is, because there's a two-way center turn lane there, if actually somebody, for whatever reason, needs to go from one side of, go on the private street and then get to Newbridge to go west, they could actually, I think, do it a little bit now, even in the peak hour, to go make the left turn when they have a gap, wait in the two-way left turn lane, and then turn and then merge into the traffic and go right. Like it is doable now, whereas really if they lined up, it wasn't going to work that way anyways. So I think it's actually a superior design. So even though it took a long time to get here and a lot of back and forth, I think this is ultimately the best solution to provide some connectivity in this area long term. So we would request the council approve it. And as far as the timing, because it's gone on for so long, I mean, the owners, they already paid for the engineering, so sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to pay a nickel for engineering until I'm all the way through. Well, they were like, we need to get this done. So the engineering is mostly done, so I would anticipate shortly after the planning, or after the council approves it, we'll be submitting the permits for review with Public Works, with the idea being turning dirt as soon as the weather will allow. I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
Sure. I think we have a question.
So the applicant owns both properties on both sides of Newbridge Way, correct? Same applicant? The reason
what do you mean both sides?
Of the old Newbridge Way, the north and south. Because when we vacate this, doesn't it split evenly north and south to the adjacent properties?
Oh, what was dedicated was only a half street or a third of a street or something like that.
But still,
correct.
though, doesn't a vacation split evenly?
No,
Okay.
It comes from the property from which it came.
Okay,
in the context of a and sometimes that's a very complicated answer to figure out, and sometimes the cost to figure that out is a lot more than the land worth figuring it out, but it's one of those things that has to be done, right? Yeah. But here we know where it came from. It came out of that piece to the north as part of that subdivision. So then it gets returned back. So yeah, and it was the only real question with that wasn't really the overall ownership. It was that a couple of the lots that were subdivided, we met with the project surveyor, Dave Manesi, and the city surveyor to figure out a couple little pieces of exactly which lot the vacation should ultimately be absorbed in. So that's been worked out. It wasn't really going to be a problem as much as I worry about if you just do the vacation and send it over to the assessor's office without agreement from the city surveyor, they'll do it wrong. And then we got to fix it. So when we get to that point, there will be a memo from our surveyor that goes to the city surveyor that will go with it to assessment and says, this is the way the city surveyor wants this done. And the property owner agrees. So.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Curlier?
Yeah, the applicant also owns the 3 residential lots that just had the glut change to the east, correct?
Yes, correct. That's right.
Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Did anyone wish to speak on this issue, Wendy? Any blue comment forms? Anybody want to come talk about it? All right.
Exciting stuff.
It is exciting stuff. Seeing no further testimony, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move approval of Council Bill 2026-03.
Second.
So from Garrett and then Mr. Card. Garrett, do you have any?
I think this road vacation makes a lot of sense. I think it's highly reasonable. I don't think a street could be developed in the current location, and I think reorienting it as Mr. Harland, his client, and staff has proposed makes a lot of sense. So I urge everyone to vote in the affirmative.
Great. Mr. Card?
This is the kind of stuff that I really like to see because this is how we, Medford, I think, distinguishes ourselves from other jurisdictions by being willing to be creative and think outside the box to make sure that development can happen in ways that minimize impact on the city but maximize the ability for our property owners and developers to realize those developments. So excited to see this stuff moving forward.
Mike?
I also thought it made a lot of sense, and then when the land use attorney says it makes sense, it makes me feel like it really makes a lot of sense.
Kevin?
I want to say I live like a half mile away, and I've taken that left turn out of Albertsons around 4:30 on a weekday, and it's awful. So you actually have to go around, if you want to get out of there at normal time, you go around the other side, next to the gas station, go down Main, and then come down Ross instead of being stuck. But I had a good time with my daughter just chilling for like 10 minutes while there's like 4 cars in front of us. So I am actually not looking forward to more traffic being on the street, but sometimes you vote for things not necessarily about you, but for the better good of the city.
There we go.
Just throwing it out there.
Anyone else? May we have roll call, please?
Garrett West,
Yes.
Nick Card.
Yes.
Mike Curlinger,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
Zach Smith,
Yes.
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
and John Quinn.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
All right, that passes as well.
Hold on. We have Mr. Keating arrived. He needs to cast his vote.
Sorry, Mr.
Well,
Keating.
how sneaky.
Yes.
Thank you. We have 8 yes.
Okay, yeah, that was a close one. Well done, Kevin.
And Winnie, for the record, Kevin was here prior to the beginning of the public hearing, so.
Moving on to council business, but first proclamations. I do have a proclamation for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, whereas Martin Luther King Jr. was a pivotal figure in the civil rights movement and received several hundred awards for his leadership in this movement. And whereas on December 5th, 1955, after civil rights activist Rosa Parks refused to comply with Montgomery's segregation policy on buses, African-American residents launched a bus boycott and elected Martin Luther King Jr. as president of the newly formed Montgomery Improvement Association. And whereas Martin Luther King Jr. was an inspirational leader with the Montgomery, Alabama civil rights movement, which was one of the first great battles won in the South, and whereas Dr. King was a vigilant advocate of nonviolence and direct action as methods of social change. He conducted workshops in nonviolent techniques. In 1963, Dr. King led the Birmingham, Alabama movement, where local police officials were known for their violent opposition to integration, which led to the arrests of more than 3,300 African Americans, including Martin Luther King Jr. And whereas the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed when President Johnson responded to the Birmingham protests and submitted broad civil rights legislation to Congress. In December 1964, Dr. Martin Luther King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work with the civil rights movement. Now, therefore, I, Michael Zarazinski, Mayor of Medford, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 19, 2026, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and encourage all citizens of Medford to observe this day as a day to remember, celebrate, and act, and to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for devoting his life to the civil rights movement, sharing in his dream of freedom for all. One other item that we need to do is every 3 years we have to reappoint a municipal court judge. For many years and a long time, speaking of going back a few years, it was the same person, and to be quite honest, that was the only time I ever really heard a name about what a judge was doing. But 3 years ago, Mayor Sparacino appointed Virginia Greer as our municipal court judge. And so I am reappointing her, and I'll just point out that what we've done with the appointment from Mayor Sparacino has really kind of changed how our municipal court works, how a municipal court works in our, beyond just what we would consider justice, but also into basically the livability of our community. She works, in a great deal with our livability team, and we have a lot of things on the horizon, including becoming an actual court of record, and maybe even moving further into a livability court, mental health court, a lot of things that are probably well needed and somewhat lacking in our community. So that is the way it works. Is I will appoint and council confirms. So I'm asking you to confirm the appointment of Virginia Greer as municipal court judge. Kevin Stein.
I confirm Mayor Zarzynski's appointment of Virginia Greer as Medford's municipal court judge for a 3-year term beginning February 1st, 2026 and ending January 31st, 2029.
Second.
All right. Can we take a voice vote on that? Yep. Yes. Oh, Kevin, you would like to speak to that?
Oh, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think what she brings to the table is very dynamic. It's very forward-looking. It's looking at what other entities do and seeing how we can incorporate the best practices. I really like the outreach to people that, there's people that are very involved with the public court system, unfortunately, and what?
I think you said term starting January 1st.
February.
It should be January 16th. Her last term runs through January 15th.
So January 16th, 2026?
January 16th, 2026 through January 15th, 2029.
I adopt Mr. Minton's words as my own.
And I'll accept that as a second. And I think Winnie needs to go to Winnie jail, too.
But
Sorry, Tim.
anyway,
Yeah.
I just really like the forward-looking portion of what we're doing. And she's very involved. She comes to a fair amount of study sessions, gives more reports about the things going on. And it's very nice to hear, and appreciate you wanting to stay on for 3 more years, right? It's mutual. We're happy that you're staying. We're happy to keep you.
Yeah. And I do believe the contract has a no leaving clause, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. West?
I just wanted to express how fortunate the city is to have Judge Greer. Thank you for all your work, and thank you to your staff as well.
All right. Just a voice vote on the reappointment, or does
I think she should have to come down and speak.
Yeah. Actually, can you come down and tell us what you do here every day?
Yeah. Why do we need a judge? I'm not sure you do anything for the city.
What would you say you do here on a typical day?
What do you do here?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Virginia Greer, your municipal court judge. Well, this morning I got here at about 6 o'clock, 6:30, because my daughter goes to St. Mary's and she has archery on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I have very early days those days. And today I spent most of my time kind of draft writing a grant to start setting up livability court, and kind of got the thumbs up from John Weil this afternoon to move forward with that, as well as Brian back there, who said he would actually help, which I'm grateful for, because it's been a minute since I've written a grant. But we're moving forward on that, so that was the majority of my day besides being in court. And we actually got to visit from Mr. Weil this afternoon, or this morning, for some of the traffic trials, which was a first for me to have a city manager down there, so that was kind of neat. But the rest of it is just trying to move forward. We're working hard on the Harvard-Bloomberg piece of it with the mayor. You'll be hearing from me in about a month. We're going to do a state of the court update, so I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight with all of this. But one of the more exciting things that's come out of the Harvard-Bloomberg piece, for me at least, is that we submitted a proposal for a Harvard Fellow for the summer to help us navigate the fairly dynamic waters of mental health court, and our proposal was approved, so we'll be hosting a Harvard Fellow for the summer, which is very exciting. And so we'll go into more of that in about a month, but that was kind of the majority of my day right there.
I think it would be worth sharing about your upcoming Dallas trip.
So the other thing that is a new thing for us is that we're taking our message about what we're doing in Medford to a national stage. We were invited to speak at the CoreCon conference in Dallas in June. So part of the livability team and myself are going to go. We're going to present. We actually just got our slot today, so we're presenting on that Tuesday morning. I was under the impression that it was a rather small conference. I was very wrong. So I've been to concerts that are smaller than this conference. So I'm a little, like, I don't know that I've presented on a stage like this before, but we'll see how it goes. So we're excited to present there. We're excited to take our model to a national stage, and we're honored to have been asked to do that. Thank you all very much for the trust you've placed in me to give our court a new vision and a new direction, and I look forward to seeing how that transforms the next 3 years.
Super. All right, are we ready to have a vote? All right, all in favor of Kevin Stein's amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 3 years.
You're stuck with us.
This does bring up a question of
Procedure?
contract. Yes, go ahead.
So just to clarify for everyone, you'll hear an encore presentation at the next council meeting, because the appointment is this meeting, but every contract needs to be approved by ordinance by our wonderful charter that has so many rules that make so much practical sense. And so because the contract needs to be approved by ordinance, the contract will be executed after the appointment, but it will be ratified at the next council meeting. So I hope we have enough items for consent calendar, because that feels like a consent calendar item.
And we will go ahead and pay her.
Yeah.
And for the 3 days prior to execution.
Whoa, now, Mayor.
We can execute it now because it's just a ratification that'll happen at the next meeting.
Yeah,
So
we'll
that,
go ahead and pay her until ratification.
if I need to be thrown in jail, otherwise, no one's there to do it. So
Okay, that's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council officers, we had a very full council officers agenda, 8 items. I'll run through these quickly. First item was Councilors Quinn and West brought a concern brought a suggestion about a validation system to address downtown parking, and that led to a longer conversation. Dan shared that Public Works is working on a parking study. This is something we've talked about a few times. In February, they'll be coming to us as part of council briefing to have a longer conversation about the scope of exactly what that parking study is going to cover. So that way we can really make sure that we dive into this parking, and there's a lot of questions around parking, in a way that's hopefully deeper and more substantive than we have done in the past. So you'll see that in your February council briefs. Second item, landmark and historic preservation. There were some concerns that have been brought to a few councilors about stuff on landmarks and preservation. That actually raised an issue regarding recording issues. This is something that Councilor West has been concerned about for a while, and so we were able to identify some of the problems and address those for the future to make sure that all of our meetings, our committee and commission meetings, are being properly recorded, and then that's available for us going forward in the future. Third item, private infrastructure for water lines. This is something that has come back to us most recently in May, especially regarding private fire hydrants. So this is something that Medford Water has been looking at, and after a conversation between staff, Medford Water's position is that they do not think that this is going to be something that's needed outside of exceptional circumstances, and in the event that they feel like some kind of private infrastructure is needed around water, they're going to give us an opportunity, they're going to inform us and give us an opportunity to basically state what our concerns are to make sure that those are addressed. So hopefully this is not something that's going to have to come up, but if it does, we're going to have a say in that to make sure that there aren't any consequences, particularly safety consequences for our community. Fourth item, Mr. Weil came to us with a request for fourth Wednesday study sessions. These are needed from time to time. We have one already scheduled on January 28th, and there is a question for council on this item. Basically, there are 2 philosophies about how we want to handle these. Do we want to handle these fourth Wednesday study sessions where we prioritize those months? Basically, we put the fourth study session into months where there are 5 weeks, so that we always are guaranteed at least a week off. Or do we explicitly avoid those so that way we can get 2 weeks off and have mini vacations throughout the year? I am of the latter camp. I know there are others, Mike, who are of the former camp. And so I really kind of want to see hands up if you think we should put them in the we should prioritize those months that have the 5 weeks, so we always get a week off. Hands up if you think that.
I'm confused, sorry.
Sorry.
What's the one where, which one do we actually come in and do work every Wednesday? I want that one.
You want no breaks.
Fourth Wednesdays, fifth Wednesdays, sixth Wednesdays, let's do it.
All right. Lunch.
You're going to be here by yourself because other people got to work. And Garrett.
All right. So staff does need some guidance from us because they do need these extra weeks. It sounds like Kevin says it doesn't matter to him. He likes all the working.
Yeah.
Mike.
It seems I'm leaning towards just take the week with an extra Wednesday, throw in the extra study session. We still get a week off. It also seems like less of a scheduling nightmare where if it's 5 weeks, just add one on the 4th, as opposed to like, well, we can't do it on this month, even if we're busy, because it's got 5 weeks, because then they want 2 weeks off. But then are we doing it on the 4th week of the month before, or the month after? Like, there's consistency. If there's 5 weeks, add a 4th. You know exactly what months they are. You know exactly when they're coming.
So what I'm asking is, if anybody wants to say something, they can say something. But we can also jump to like, if you agree with Mike, raise your hand.
You do.
All right.
Meet more
All right,
often.
there you go. There's your guidance. So what that means is when we need more than 3 meetings, so because we have 2 scheduled meetings plus 1 study session, if we happen to need a second study session in a month, staff's instruction is to put those in months where we have 5 Wednesdays. So therefore, we're always going to be guaranteed at least 1 week off every month. But it'll be on the 4th Wednesday, and so therefore we get the 5th Wednesday off. I agree with Mike. All right.
John, I appreciate your unbridled support.
Calm down now, John. Calm down. Also, your microphone is off, Mr. Quinn.
Just regarding 4th Wednesdays.
So do we need the 4th in February? Is that already scheduled for sure?
We are requesting that you allow
Okay.
us to do that in February. As I noted in the council officers, we're having things fill up.
Yep,
We're
that's right.
getting behind on some approval items, so we would ask you to allow us to do February.
So what that means is, because we've got this one coming up in January, which is not 5 weeks. We also need one in February, which is also not 5 weeks. So we are going to be seeing each other 8 weeks solid.
Oh, what do we get in return?
But then the
11
next
weeks.
one after that will be the April 22nd, which is a 5-week month. So that one sort of fits our plan, and I don't remember what September is. So maybe. Well, I mean, I know the date, but I don't know if that's. I'd have to do the math. Anyway, so those are coming up. Those will be on our schedule. We'll receive that from Winnie or Marta or whoever sends them out to us. John.
The one thing I would also add is, as we discussed in council officers, we're going to try not to use these 4th, but
Yeah.
you've given us direction if we have to, the dates that we're going to be shooting for. Our goal is to not to fill them up.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. 5th item, July 4th. So we heard some feedback from some counselors about how much we liked the drone show that we did for the Winter Festival, and some requests to repeat something like that for July 4th. It is the 250th birthday of America this year. However, it is kind of last minute for us, especially given the big holiday, and there is no availability that we can find for drone shows to do something this year. However, there was conversation in officers that this is something that we'd like to see. Medford has historically not done anything for the 4th of July, and we would like to see Medford be a bigger participant in that. Given the sort of lack of notice and the lack of budgeting, we don't have anything budgeted for this. That makes this year somewhat difficult to participate. And so sort of the general conversation in officers was that as a city, what we're going to do is work to participate in what other cities in our community are doing, what the county's doing, and some of the other communities, so that way we can have a presence there. And then with a focus on budgeting for and preparing for a 4th of July event for 2027. Any conversation or thoughts on that, Kevin?
Can we do something light? I mean, can't we just use, have a 4th of July festival or something? I mean, it doesn't, it seems like there can be something that can be done that's not, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we can still have an event, a family event. But that's my hot take.
Since Rich isn't here, John, do you want to take that? We just blame Rich, and since he's not here.
Sure, we can, that works for me. If it is council's desire, I mean, we've heard from Mr. Stein, if it's council's desire for us to try to find something to do on the 4th where the city is having something, we can take that under advisement and report back to you on what we're able to do.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on that. I spoke to Rich in the staff room real quick. I would really, I mean, even if it were a picnic at Fickner, Maine, wearing some kind of big family gathering where we could all be, you know, Medford in celebration, I'd really be in support of that. To not do anything on this particular anniversary, I think would be a huge fail.
I too think that if we could do something, I feel like the fact that we haven't done something in Medford for the 4th of July is kind of a big failure on our part. I mean, I know we do a lot of other great events, so it's not meant to say that. And I know other members of the community have done lots of great things on 4th of July, but it's just always been a glaring hole for me. Kevin.
I mean, it's the same thing with Veterans Day as well.
Yeah.
We farm it out to other communities. Actually, to be fair, Brett Johnson, who's on our budget committee and was our deputy chief, you know, he actually did put on an event that I helped him with back in the day. But yeah, I like I mean, we have put on events in Hawthorne Park and other parks. We put on the movies. It could be movies in the park. I mean, there's lots of things. We had one of the, because this is going to fall on Rich. One of the problems that he has is him and his team are really good at putting on events. And so maybe we can find a way to just put on another similar event of things that he already does during the summer. And the fireworks are really the largest expense, and we just wouldn't do that part. But the other part, bring in community partners, whatever else, I think it's plausible without not everything has to be spectacular to be a good time for families, especially like during the day, because during the night, they're probably going to go off and do their own thing anyway. So, yeah, I like us doing something, and what that looks like can be maybe a subgroup of council or whatever that is to participate.
Does anyone have any strong feelings against doing something on 4th of July? Well, there's your answer. Mr. Weil, can you get with staff and have something back to us in an officers meeting or two?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Can I?
Do you really want to say something?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, fine. You can say something. God bless
I don't
America.
want to say I'm adamantly against the 4th of July celebration.
Oh, okay.
I like the idea of
Sounds
a 4th
like
of July celebration, but if there's like some backstory, if there's a reason Medford doesn't do them, we used to do them. They were extravagantly expensive, or nobody came, or we were competing with other local municipalities. Like, I'm open to someone saying, hey, this is why we haven't done it. So I'm not just going to say, well, Medford should step up and fix that. If the thing is, oh, we just never really tried, well then, okay, yeah, let's give it a shot. I just want to throw that out there. I'm not automatically assuming
Gosh, I
Rich
didn't realize
hates 4th
how
of
much
July.
you hated this country and 4th of July, Mike.
We're not going to let him badmouth the U.S. of A., are we?
No. It sounds like we need to censure him over here or something. All right. Recall. All right, let's see here. 6th item. We still got 3 more to go, people. 6th item, council liaison appointments. We're going to get to this later, but you should have in your packets a list of all of the current council liaison appointments. Basically, the way this process goes is that later on, we're going to select a new council president and a council vice president. They are going to go ahead and get this list. They will make a review of this list and then bring it back to us, and then we're going to vote on it, whether we like it or not. So if you have opinions about who's on what position, start thinking about those things. 7th item, council attendance at boards and commissions luncheon. I want to remind everyone that this month we have the boards and commissions luncheon. This is where we celebrate those who volunteer their time at the boards and commissions to help kind of keep the city going. And so that is on January 22nd at Rogue X. We ask that counselors please arrive if you're going to be there by 11:45 so we can sort of set up our little receiving line to thank and welcome all of those members as they come in. Noon is the official start time for the lunch, but like I said, we'd like everyone to be there just a few minutes early so we can get all set up. 8th item, Unfortunately, Wanda Olsrand recently passed away. Garrett brought to us at officers that he'd like to consider doing a memorial stone for Wanda, and so just like he did with Treasurer Wheeler, he's going to be bringing back a more formal request, but he just wanted to raise that with us at officers today. Any questions or comments on the officers' agenda? January 22nd. Be there or get recalled. Yeah. So, no, be there or, be lame. That's all I got to say. Alrighty. Next up, we have boards and commissions reports. Anybody attend anything over the holidays that they really want to report back on? Mike? Oh. Great, because I know we all attended so many different boards and commissions during the holidays. We have one appointment today for Vic. Stacy Donnell reapplied as the Ward 2 rep. Stacy's been a great participant on Vic so far. In fact, I think she's probably asked the most questions of anyone who's been on Vic, and she asks really good questions. So personally, I'm excited to have her there. So I move to reappoint Stacy Donnell to the Vision Implementation Committee with a term beginning February 1, 2026 and expiring January 31st, 2029.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Awesome. Thanks, Stacy. Alrighty, with that, we move on to the election of council officers. Mr. Mayor, do you want to run this thing, or do you want me to run it?
Nominations for president.
I have a nomination.
Yes.
I nominate Jessica Ayers to be president.
What?
Do you accept the nomination?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Are there nominations?
Yes, I accept.
Seeing no other nominations, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you, everyone.
Unanimous.
I appreciate you all.
I'll pass off the mop and bucket to you later, so.
So I can clean up your stuff?
Exactly. Yeah, it's your meeting now, council officer.
Man, this is really quick. How do I handle this? Okay. Well, I would like to accept any nominations for council vice president. Mr. Stein had his arm up first.
I nominate Garrett West for vice president.
I was going to nominate Garrett too, but
So you're the second?
you don't need a second on a nomination.
So all those in favor of
Well,
Garrett
is there
West
any-
as vice president? We don't. Any other nominations for vice president?
Garrett West.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of Garrett West?
Does Garrett have to accept the nomination?
No.
Okay. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have it. Garrett West as vice president.
I'm free at last.
So does this mean I have to, are we done with council president
Yes.
business?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Madam President.
Very well done. Congratulations to our new president and vice president. Thank you so much to our previous president and vice president. Staff reports, Mr. Weil.
Nothing further from staff. Your Honor, I would remind that we have a short executive session immediately following.
You bet. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order?
I'll just speak to this. If anyone has any changes that they want or comments on this, please get them to your lovely president and vice president. What a pair they make.
One real quick one.
Kevin?
Hey, Winnie, Shivani Ligamnani on the Vic committee applicants. That last name is misspelled. I just want to, yeah.
So I also want to remind everyone, in your packets, there is the annual recruitment update. We have a lot of openings. So please review the openings. Some of them are people who may be interested in reapplying, and they've not gotten around to reapplying. So if you serve with them, please remind them or encourage them or twist their arm or whatever you have to do to get them to come back. Or if they have vacancies and you know people in the community that would be a good fit for our committees or commissions, please get them involved. We need good people to keep the city working, and the work that these boards and commissions do is critically important to functioning for our community.
And I am a little curious as to why we have so many that did not reapply. So if there's any way to get some feedback on that, I'd be really interested in hearing it.
They didn't like the council president.
I just have that effect on people, Mike. What
Things
can I
are going to
say?
change.
If they didn't like me, wait until Jessica's in charge.
Anything else for the good of the order? I have one thing. Kevin, did you sneak in and then quote Animal House during the meeting? Very nice. Very nice. All right. All right. Excellent. We have executive session following, but we are adjourned.